The What to Read Next podcast helps you build a TBR of future favorite books. In each episode, Lori and Maine interviews authors and book influencers to recommend books they loved for you to pick up today. If you're an avid reader, always looking for your next great read, then the show's for you. Hi, Carla. Hi, Joanna. Welcome to What to Read Next podcast.
Hi, thank you for having us.
So happy to have you here. So tell us a little about yourself. Let's go with Carla first and then Joanna.
Okay. So I do Bookstagram, been doing it for, I want to say 2 years at least. And I kind of read it all, but I definitely love romance the most. And then I spotted Joanna on Book Talk and Bookstagram. And I was like, oh my gosh, I like the way she explains books, right? And so the, what was it? The Christmas anthology? Amor actually by all those Latinx romance authors came out, and I noticed that Joanna was just as excited as I was to promote this and to read it and to just fall in love with the characters. And I reached out to her and I was like, hey, do you want to partner up and go live and discuss each story or something? And then Joanna was like, yeah, sure. And so that's how we both met. We had individual journeys and then we came together for this cause. But Joanna can give more details too.
I'm Joanna, and I started on Book Talk as Joanna with Books, and then moved on to Bookstagram, a little bit after that, because I was like, I don't know, that place seems cool. A lot of the authors were on Instagram versus TikTok at the time. But I started with doing a lot of reviews around Latinx books, YA books, romance books, a bunch of different genres. And then on Instagram, Carla started following me and I started following her back, and we would kind of say things to each other on our stories. And then when Amor actually came out, we decided, let's talk about the book together. And we were really lucky because all of the authors just agreed they would do a live with us. So that was before we were Amor and Paginas, but we got to do lives with all of the authors, and then we're like, let's not stop. Let's keep doing this. Let's keep doing a buddy read together. But let's open it to everybody that wants to join us. Mm-hmm. So that's a little bit about how we got started together. And I've been on Instagram and Book Talk for a little bit over a year now.
Oh my gosh. And so what inspired you to start Book Talk before Bookstagram? Was it that you were on TikTok? Because Book Talk exploded during a pandemic. So
it really did. I was on TikTok not right at the beginning because I didn't understand fully what it was. But a few months in, I was like, all right, I'm in the cave. I'm just gonna get this app because why do people keep referencing the videos? And I quickly noticed that a lot of the books that were being talked about on TikTok were a lot of the same authors. There wasn't a lot of diversity. I didn't see a lot of people talking about Latinx books at the time. So I really just started because I was like, I don't know, maybe people will want to talk about Latinx books. And I did a couple of videos and one kind of got pretty popular. And I was like, oh, maybe there is an audience for this. So that was the main reason I started, because I didn't see a lot of people talking about Latinx books. And I was kind of like, well, if these people can go on the internet and talk about books, why can't I? And then I really started Instagram because my videos were being shared. And I was like, well, I would like to actually be tagged in them or at least see the interaction. Mm-hmm. So then that's when I started Instagram too.
Oh, I love this. And so for you, Carla, when did you start Bookstagram? What led you to start?
Honestly, I used to have a regular Instagram just showing my life. Mm-hmm. And then eventually I always loved to read. I've been reading books since the big indie boom back in 2012. So I found that there was a Bookstagram community, and I was like, well, let me post what I just read real quick. Let me post this review real quick. Let me post this real quick. And then eventually it emerged and evolved into a Bookstagram account. But that was just me, just understanding that there was a whole movement of this, Mm-hmm. So I want to say when I fully evolved into only doing Bookstagram, because then I stopped showing less of my personal stuff and more books, was about 2 years ago. That's my estimate, because I don't have an exact pinpoint because I started slowly sprinkling books until it just became a fully immersive book account. But I just love being part of that community. Like, that's how I get so many of my next reads and stuff, you know, like your account, when you just like show, here's this newest publishing, like Joanna, that's the reason why I'm on there, because I just love all the recs.
Yes, I love this. So talk to us about Amor and Paginas. Talk to us what led you to both of you work together and create this page.
It's completely 50-50. When I tell you it's completely 50-50, it might be that Joanna all of a sudden has a little seed of an idea. And then I'm like, well, we can execute it by doing this, 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 and this. Or vice versa. I might have this little seed of an idea. And Joanna will be like, well, let's execute it by doing this, this, and this. And it's completely collaborative. We just like spit out ideas. That's one of the things that we have in common, that we're always like on a roll, like, well, we should do this and we should do this. And we get really excited and like, you know, so anxious and happy, but it's completely 50-50. We both alternate running the account too. So she gets her set of days and so do I, so that we can go out there and outreach. And I don't know, Joanna, do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, I think we just got lucky finding each other on Instagram, because we're both people who really love reading romance. Like that's not a hardship for us at all. And then we are both really excited to just about highlighting Latinx authors, especially Latinx romance authors. So, you know, people have asked us like, why did you start? And yes, we did want to raise like our authors up and their books up, like all of those things. And also we like genuinely were going to do this anyway. Like we were going to do this just together in conversation. And we were like, let's just open it up. We didn't think so many people would be interested so fast. We've been really, really like just amazed at the support we got when we first announced it, because we were doing it just on our individual pages and doing like collaborative posts. But then we were like, maybe we should actually make an Instagram page for this specifically, because people were interacting and people were following along. But then it was getting confusing with our regular posts and our regular pages. So it's been really amazing to see like people show out to the lives, people reading along with us. Because we were like, are people gonna actually want to do this with us? Are we like entertaining enough for people to stick around? But it's been a lot of great support, and the authors in the community are so amazing, and we genuinely love working with them, because they are like so down and they're like, this is amazing, so thank you. And we're like, no, thank you.
Yes, like they're always so like ready to join the cause and the discussion. And we're like, wow, you know, me and Gianna would be like, well, they actually agreed. Yeah. Okay, let's keep going.
I love this so much. And so let's talk some recommendations. Let's talk some romance recommendations. So give it to us. Which ones should we pick up? You know.
Oh my God. It's like so much. It's like, you know, when people ask you for a record, you just draw a blank. But my go-to to always recommend is Alexis Daria. She has the You Had Me at Hola and A Lot Like Adios books. Those are two books in her Primas of Power. And she just put a little update yesterday on Instagram that she just finished Ava's story. So the third Primas book should be coming soon. Those books are the perfect example of showing like a current and contemporary Latina woman just out here in society, right? Thriving, working either in an executive level or in a creative field, and balancing both their romantic life and their interpersonal development, right? Whether we're tackling how we do quote unquote your inner demons while you're falling in love, she does that so perfectly in a perfectly balanced, like adorable yet steamy story. So she gives you like everything that you need. I also love Mia Sosa. She's coming out with Wedding Crashers, which we have the art for, and I hope to start soon. But for sure, like she knows how to put in the rom-com. She is so hilarious, and she always makes sure to represent the Latinx community. She always finds a way to weave that in the story, which also makes people and readers feel validated. So that when it comes to Latinx rom-com, those two are my go-tos. Like I love those. I also love the next recommendation, but I'm gonna pass the mic to Joanna.
Okay, my go-to, and I feel like she's probably so tired of me like mentioning her everywhere I talk. But my go-to author is always Adriana.
I
Adriana
love her too.
Ojeda
I
is
love her
just,
too.
yeah.
I love her too. This is like you're preaching to the choir.
I know, right? It's like all of us just, amen,
Love
amen.
her. She's definitely one of my favorite writers, like across genres and on the board. But I love her romances. I like it did. She was the first Dominican romance author I ever read, and I was like, wow, like this is us on the page. But also she writes a lot of queer romances. And they like when I read her American American Dreams, American Dreamer series with the 4 books, I was like, wow, I have never read like us like written queerly, right? In romance books. And I love that series, and that's where I think I started. But I've probably read every single thing that I could find she's ever written, if like I can help it. But I love them because there's so much queer representation, so much Afro Latinx representation in her book. There's always something to learn in her books. Like she always finds very organic ways to either incorporate history or like just like social criticism. But she always has the spiciest and steamiest scenes. And you're like, how am I learning? And also falling in love and also reading like the steamiest books that I could ever read.
No two steamy scenes are the same with her.
No, never.
And she's written all those books too. Like,
yeah. And you're just like, just when you're like, she can't possibly get steamier, she's like, challenge accepted. But my favorite book currently by her is American Sweethearts. I can't let go of that book, but I recommend anything by her. I love her holiday romances. I love everything she's written, and she has a Caribbean Harris coming out soon, so that's something to look forward to as well. And she has another book coming out this fall for her Dallas series. Then my second recommendation is Running from the Blaze by Ophelia Martinez. I love that book. It came out January. It came out this year,
January. Mm-hmm.
January. Yes. And I feel like I haven't stopped telling people to go read that book. It's the second book in her Rockstar series, but it is so good. If you love a slow burn, but that has a lot of teasing, doesn't mean it's not spicy, but it's just a lot of teasing, a lot of buildup, a lot of pining. This book did it so well. I was like, I don't always love a slow burn, but this is like now the book that I will compare all slow burns to, because it was magnificent. So I definitely recommend reading Running from the Blaze by Ophelia.
I have such FOMO over you reading that. I need to read
I know. I'm still waiting for you to read it. And it also has a little bit of forbidden romance in it. There's fake dating, like all the tropes.
All the tropes.
I need to read this. You just gave me a recommendation I did not know, so thank you.
And the cover for that series is just hot. Yeah.
So hot.
All right, Carla, what's your next recommendation?
Definitely our February read that we just finished in Amor, Paginas, Delicious Dilemma by Sarah Taino. This is her debut novel. This was like her passion baby. She had a dream for this book, and we just did a live with her last night. And just finding out all these little tidbits and behind the scenes. This is one of the reasons why I like what we're doing, because we're getting to speak with the author, right? And they tell us like all this, like this idea was born by this, and I had to carve out this, and I had to add this. It was so interesting to find out everything, how much biographical information she put in the book, because she made it into fiction. All these upbringings from when she moved to New Jersey from Puerto Rico, that it's just so adorable, because when I read the book, I was like, these family scenes, as the family was gathering and making fun of each other, it felt so vivid, and the depth of the conversations were so real. I was laughing out loud. It was so adorable, such a cute read. The ending was so sweet, perfect PTA for the couple. So I definitely recommend A Delicious Dilemma by Sarah Taino for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I love this. And Joanna, do you have any other recommendation or?
The Delicious Desire series by Sabrina Sol.
Oh, yes.
I love that series. My favorite is the second book, Delicious Temptation, but it's because
Yes.
it has like fake dating and it's like has the most drama. But book one is like older siblings, best friend, well, ex best friend, just like secret dating and redeemed bad boy. I really, really love that one. And the second book has some fake dating, fake fiance, and they're kind of a little bit not enemies to lovers because they weren't enemies, but they definitely like did not like each other. They could have lived without ever being in each other's presence. Well, apparently they couldn't. But and then we have we have book three, which is more of like a second chance romance, and it's like a lawyer turned into your secret lover romance. And I love that series. I think I don't see enough people talking about it.
I love this. So what are you currently reading? What's on your docket?
Other than juggling like 4 arcs at once, I juggle about 4 arcs at once. To be honest, all joking aside, which one of them is a pick for our April, which we'll keep it on hush hush for now. But what I usually do to like pleasure read, I have like my audibles, and I'll just pop in an audiobook. And since I work a lot, just working on projects here at the computer at home, I'm able to just buzz through my TBR. Right now, I'm obsessed with the Black romance author Alexandria House and Danielle Page. Alexandria House, the McLean Brothers series. Woo! 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 It's so
Which
hot.
now I'm
so
reading because of you.
Sorry. I'm sorry, not sorry. And Danielle Page, you all have to read Truth or Dare. Like, that's actually, I've been going back to reference favorite parts of that book. It's a short story. She's an indie author. She does Black romance. And it's kind of like all those adorable and hilarious, funny Black romance movies that we grew up watching, right? All in that, because it's a big friend group. And so I finished it, but I'm actually keep going back to it because it's just so funny. It's a laugh out loud, steamy type book.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm reading those things too because Carla doesn't stop talking about them on the internet. But those are kind of like my reads when I'm like, I should be reading what I'm supposed to be reading, but I can't. So I also recently read Truth or Dare because Carla, I'm pretty sure, posted about it really recently. And I also started the McLean Brothers series because Carla wouldn't stop talking about them.
Sorry.
And then I understood the pineapple reference.
Yes.
But I'm also trying to juggle a couple of arcs. I'm reading The Lost Dreamer, which I think comes out today or next week. I don't know, but that's
today.
one. Yeah, I think it's today. I obviously did not finish the arc, but I am reading that arc. I'm also trying to finish Flirting with Fate and Diamond Park, which are all 3 YA books that are coming out. But I'm also reading Reclaim the Stars, which came out last month, and I still haven't finished. And I started last month. And I've also been reading 7 Days in June. And then, of course, we're reading our March book, What Happens in Miami by Nadine Gonzalez, which we'll be chatting with her at the end of this month.
We're so excited to have a Haitian author, you know?
Yeah.
We want to cover all of Latin America, and Haiti gets left out so much. So
Nadine
we're really
is
excited.
so much fun. I love her book. I love both of them, Scandal and the VIP Suite and What Happened in Miami.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to talk to you. I went to her, I was like, I'm sorry, I need to talk to you. You need to give me all the details. And like, she's so much fun. She loves Miami. Like, it's like so much fun. Like, you're gonna have a blast chatting with her.
Oh, we can't wait.
So awesome. So tell us where you can find you online.
Well, you can find us on Instagram. You can search us at Latinas Read Romance, or you can just type in Amor en Paginas. That's literally the first and last name that we put when we registered the account. Yeah. And our individual accounts are linked in that page if you're interested in our individual projects that we do. Which we still reach out to each other because like we can't get rid of each other. We're doing our obsessed with each other. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Carla, and thank you, Joanna, for being on the show.
Thank you so much for
having us.
This was super fun.
If you enjoyed this podcast, feel free to share with friends, subscribe, rate, and review the show. This is the easiest way to support the podcast. Today's episode's partner is Libra FM. If you're an audiobook listener, then you should add Libra FM as your go-to source for paid audiobooks. Libra FM makes it possible for you to buy audiobooks through your local bookstore. Memberships start at $14.95, and they also have great sales for women's audiobooks each month for $3.99, thanks to the Kiss Club. To sign up for Libra FM, please visit whattoreadnextblog.com/LibraFM. You will receive a free audiobook when you sign up for a monthly subscription. If you purchase a subscription through our link, you will be supporting the podcast at no cost to you. The What to Read Next podcast is part of the Frolic Podcast Network. Please visit frolic.media/podcast to discover new shows to tune in. Thank you so much for listening and have a great day.